Hey everyone, welcome back to PlaycrastiNation, population 156. Today, it is week 3 of the UPA. Well, I mean, yeah, it's technically week 3, it's just not the battle yet. I don't know why I had such an excited voice going into this, when really, it should be more of a calm. Bill Nye the Science Guy, not who I was going for. I meant to say that painting man. Really, Java? You want to update now? That's the time you want to update? Okay, understandable. What's that Bob Ross? We need more of a Bob Ross, because when we're creating our teams here, it is kind of like we're painting a delicate little tree. Oh, this Lander's tea. He's just a happy little mountain. Oh, yeah. Actually, I could shake a mountain. But anyway, it is week 3 of the UP. This week, we are going against my very good friend, Mason, the coach of the Camarillo Camerupts, and I'm pretty nervous. The stakes are a little bit higher this week because I know Mason personally. We've been friends for like 10 years now, so the stakes are higher. If I lose to him, I'm gonna have to like get it rubbed in my face for the rest of my life every time I go home. So we're going to. Well, I'm saying we're going to prep, but really I already prepped. The team you can see is right here. I just want to give you my thoughts and decisions on all of these choices. So, looking at his team, let's go through it real quick. Of course, he has Volcanion, Ferrothorn, Mega Gardevoir, Conkeldurr, Haxorus, Galvantula, Flygon, Venusaur, Jellicent, Rhydon, Malamar, and finally Samurott. So looking at his team right here, I was terrified because first I was afraid I was petrified, he has some ridiculous power on his team. Volcanion is a special monster whose Steam Eruption or Fire Blast will decimate anybody who wants to take it. Ferrothorn, as we saw last week from him, was just a great everything mon, basically. It helps, it can get off a T-Wave, it can set up Stealth Rocks or Spikes or whatever you need it to, it can freaking, and then it can Power Whip with the best of them and sweep 3 members of a team if it needs to. So Ferrothorn's kind of scary as well. Mega Gardevoir absolutely terrifies me because, as you know, we have a decent amount of Dragon on our team, and Hydreigon kind of just gets destroyed by a Mega Gardevoir. Except for a Dark Pulse would do pretty well, but I'm pretty sure that's bad. I can't remember. I did the calcs before this. Then we have the Conkeldurr, which honestly was my #1 fear on his entire team. I know it's his UU pick, and Volcanion was terrifying, but Conkeldurr honestly was the #1 thing I was scared of. Ice Punch Oko's Lando. A Drain Punch does 50% to Mega Scizor, which means 2 Drain Punches and we're dead, and he's regaining health at the same time. Anything Rex Hydreigon. I think Drain Punch kills because it's stab, and then Ice Punch might also kill, I can't remember. We have our Goodra as an option on the team, but that is specially defensive and not physically defensive, so it destroys Goodra. Sneasel gets wrecked by it, Cradilly gets wrecked by it, Claydol doesn't want to deal with it, and Zangoose obviously gets wrecked by it. So that Conkeldurr was honestly, even like things like Gallade or Delphox don't want to take a knockoff from that thing because it basically OHKO'd like half the team. So it's the thing that I am most terrified of on his team. So a lot of what we did in building this team was kind of trying to get around that. So 2 biggest threats I saw on his team were Volcanion and Conkeldurr, so keep those in mind when I'm building, or when you've seen me build. So anyway, the first mon we're bringing is the mon we bring every week, of course, Lando. He is so versatile. You can use him as a rocker if you want to, or you can use an all offensive set, as we did here, which is something I'm more interested in doing. We have, I'm actually running a more of a defensive set. We have the Assault Vest on because I calced some HP Ices, mostly on the Volcanion. No, not on the Volcanion because he would just use Steam Eruption. I can't remember who I calculated HP Ice on. One of his mons I calced some HP Ice shenanigans, and with Assault Vest we could live. So I decided to throw Assault Vest, and HP Ice is how we died last time, actually. Was from not having that HP Ice on there. So that Assault Vest would have came in clutch last week. So I decided to run it this week rather than running an offensive. This is kind of especially defensive, which is interesting. But because that obviously we can only run offensive moves. We have Earthquake. It's Lando's best stab move. We have U-turn to, if we want, I don't think I want to lead with this thing anymore. I learned my lesson from Mamoswine. But if we're in and we want to get out, we can U-turn and get some switch initiative perhaps. I'm rocking the Explosion again because I'm hoping one of these matches I will run Explosion as many times as I have to. One of these times when I'm down on HP, I will freaking get this Explosion off and destroy something. I don't care what it is. And then finally we have Outrage. Outrage takes care of, it hits everything for a lot of damage on this team. I'm really scared of his Haxorus. Because as you'll see later, we have a special defensive wall, but that is weak to physical, and Haxorus is one of the best physical dragons there is, maybe the best. It's arguable, but so I wanted something that could hit it, and I believe I calced that Outrage did OHKO if we could manage to outspeed, even though I put max speed investments into this, though it's not Jolly, it is into attack. So this is kind of a weird, this is the first week I've ever built a team by myself. I didn't have any help from Mr. Ginger Ninja because I felt like it might be a conflict of interest since he's also friends with Mason. So I built this team completely myself. That's why if you're noticing some weird stat, like especially when we get to Mega Scizor, there's some weird stat distributions. Mostly just me testing some things out. So, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, next we have the Keldeo with basically, it's almost the same set as usual. But this time, rather than spexing it, we're going to Life Orbit. And we have Secret Sword Scald, Icy Wind, and HP Electric. Now, my main decision here, I'm hoping I can go into Keldeo at some point. Also, we're running Keldeo Resolute this time because he has a bigger horn. I just realized I didn't nickname any of these. Well, it's too late now. Keldeo Resolute is running HP Electric. I'm hoping that I can have something like... he doesn't really have anything weak to water now that I look at it. But anyway, at the very least, I could try to get a Scald Burn off on something. Getting on the Haxorus would be pretty choice, or the Conkeldurr, as long as he's not Guts, but he might be Sheer Force, I don't know. But I'm hoping I can trick him into thinking a Scald is coming, get him to switch into the Volcanion to try to get that Water Absorb, or that water, whatever it's called, get some HP back, and I actually click HP Electric with the prediction. HP Electric is a 2-hit KO, and we do outspeed as long as Volcanion is not Scarfed. So if I can get the prediction into the Volcanion, hit him with an HP Electric, he has to switch out. So we can either go for an HP Electric again, which hits everything on his team except for the Flygon and the Rhydon, if he brings them. But I don't think he would switch either of those back into this Keldeo, because obviously Icy Wind kind of destroys Flygon, and a Scald is going to do a lot to probably kill a Rhydon as well, as we saw in our lovely little Pokemon Full White episode we went today. But anyway, next we have this Mega Scizor here. Same thing, Technician boosted. I'm rocking Aerial Ace on it because it gets the Technician boost up to 90, and that is going to come basically whenever he goes into Conkeldurr, I'm going straight into Mega Scizor. That is my defensive wall. To a point, I put I put more defensive things into it than maybe I should have. But I also put some special defense investment here, which maybe wasn't smart. Like if this thing, really, if you're a smart Pokemon battle, which I'm not, I believe the strategy is to put them all into one type of defense, and then that is your blank wall. That is your special wall. That is your defensive wall, whatever. I ran kind of a split Scizor here just in case. I wanted some special defense in case we take an HP Fire from something, I don't know what. And I wanted that regular defense so that we could, like I said, I believe Drain Punch was, it's a roll basically. It does from like 40 to 55% or something like that on a Drain Punch against our Mega Scizor, so it would be a roll, unless he has Rock Slip, of course. But so this thing is my switch in for Conkeldurr, and I believe we outspeed, so at the very least we could try to Roost outplay. But I'm hoping the Aerial Ace does about 60% in the calking, so if we can just get his Conkeldurr low enough and then get into this Mega Scizor, and Aerial Ace will take it out. The rest of the set's pretty usual. Bullet Punch, U-turn, Roost. Next, we have the hardest pick for me picking this entire team. This spot was Hydreigon until like 10 minutes ago. Hydreigon is a beast. We know this. Though he hasn't really put in much work lately, because most people have a check to him. Most people, the two people we've played thus far, have really had really good Hydreigon checks. I believe Trippy Bean, who I played last week, said literally like 4 of his mods he brought specifically to take care of the Hydreigon with Ice-type moves, which also happened to take care of Lando as well. So it's been an unfortunate thing, and then Mega Scizors died early. You know, it's been rough. So this time I thought I would bring Goodra, which is a special defensive wall. So looking at his team, clearly he has a lot of hard-hitting special hitters. Volcania, Mega Gardevoir, Galvantula hits on the special side. Flygon could drop a Draco. Venusaur is maybe not, I believe it is special. Yeah, it is special. Jellicent is special, and yeah. So he has a lot of special things on his team, especially in his upper tier. His lower tier, you get kind of more into physical attackers, but his top tier especially, and even Ferrothorn, which is a physical attacker, isn't that strong a physical attacker, and Goodra is tanky enough to still handle it. And so then I had to decide whether I wanted to run Choice Band or Choice Specs. I ended up choosing to run Choice Specs over Choice Band, mostly because the Sap Sipper ability didn't really strike me too much as being that helpful. He does have the Ferrothorn, which can hit us with a Power Whip, but other than that, the Venusaur if he brings it for Giga Drain, but other than that, I don't think Sap Sipper was going to come in too much handy, and mostly I wanted this Flamethrower. I chose not to bring Rotom Heat, but I wanted something to take care of the Ferrothorn, and Goodra with Flamethrower is an OHKO on that Ferrothorn, so Choice Specs was the way to go. We have Flamethrower, Draco, which Choice Specs, Draco, Goodra, like, do you see that special attack stat? It wrecks pretty much everything that comes in. Is going to take a massive amount of damage, except for maybe the Mega Gardevoir, but the Haxorus dies, the Volcanion takes like 70-something%, it's ridiculous. Conkeldurr takes a ton as long as he's not Assault Vested, Flygon's dead, like, there's a lot that this Draco can hit. And then we have Gooey, so that the few physical attackers that he does have, if they make contact with us, we can slow him down. Though most of his physical attackers are kind of slow as it is, so that's not as huge a deal, but I wasn't going to put up Rain, so Hydration was useless, and I wasn't attacking on the physical side, so Sap Sipper was not that useful either. Although it does completely negate Grass Move, so maybe we'll stay with Gooey. But yeah, Sludge Bomb to hopefully handle the Mega Gardevoir. If he sees this thing come out, and he might go into the Mega Gardevoir, Sludge Bomb is here. Does like half, I want to say, and we're so specially defensive we can live a Hyper Voice, so pretty clutch there. And then Thunderbolt for the Volcanion and for the Samurott if he brings it. But Flamethrower also hits Galvantula, it hits Venusaur, it hits, like, it does pretty well. This Goodra is, like I said, Hydreigon is a beast. He's my favorite OU pick, or UU pick, sorry. He was our number 1 UU pick, and Goodra we just picked up at the end of last week. So this is our first chance to see Goodra in some action. I hope he comes in handy. Okay. Next we have Gallade, which is kind of a lower pick for us. It's our last RU pick. I didn't know what use I would get out of this thing. I just know that I like it as a Pokemon, and man, does this thing have some coverage options. Looking at the moves it can learn. So the main reason I brought this, like I said, Aerial Ace on Mega Scizor was not an OHKO on Conkeldurr. It did about 60. I looked on my entire team for a single thing that could OHKO that Conkeldurr. The next closest was Delphox, who I also picked up recently. A Psychic from a Delphox, even I think a Psy Shock was as close as we got, but it didn't quite. Not to mention a knockoff from the Conkeldurr OHKO'd, and I didn't want to risk that. So I chose Gallade instead. I looked at all the possible moves, even a knockoff. We can survive 1, barring a crit, of course. And what is it called? Psycho Cut is a one-hit KO. I believe it's like a 97% chance to 1-hit KO. It's like 98% to 110, something like that. It's pretty close to OHKOing, and we will definitely outspeed. So mostly Gallade is just there if Conkeldurr kills Mega Scizor or something, or Goodra, like hopefully not, but if it kills Mega Scizor, we switch into the Gallade, we outspeed. If he wants to switch out, he has no dark types on the team. Maybe Malamar. I don't know what type Malamar is. I should probably look that up before I battle him. But pretty much Psycho Cut. At the very least, we can get some damage off. We also have Drain Punch in close combat. Drain Punch to get some HP back because we are Life Orbed. So it'll be nice having some sort of regen. Close combat to do massive damage to something. And then Knock Off to get rid of any obnoxious items on anything. And then finally we have our Cradilly, which we've been bringing for a couple weeks now. He's pretty much, I really do prefer running offensive landers, so this defensive Cradilly not only puts in a lot of work as a defensive wall, and if I would have used him more properly in the past, we probably could have came out with some wins in a couple, at least one win in another battle if I would have used a little bit of recover instead of going for some ancient power. So I'm running a weird Cradilly set this week. Storm Drain, of course, to take as a safe switch into Volcanion, do no damage, but of course, and even the Samurott, but we're not going to really gain anything from that special attack boost because I'm running a basically a stall Cradilly that doesn't, basically this Cradilly, if we can get rid of the Ferrothorn and the Conkeldurr are the two biggest threats because I can't Toxic the Ferrothorn, and the Conkeldurr does enough damage to me that we can't just outpace it. But everything else, Stealth Rocks early on, might lead with Cradilly, get the Stealth Rocks up as soon as possible, get a Toxic off on something if I can. We have Leftovers, so protect stalling with Leftovers, and of course Recover for the bigger boost. And then I did kind of an even split here, you can see, between special defense and defense boosting because I want to take hits from both sides. But yeah, this thing is mostly an annoying Stallmon this week with no attacks whatsoever. So if it ends up being just Ferrothorn and Cradilly, it's over because we can't poison it. But the hope is that we don't get to that point. But anyway, that's the team we're going to be bringing against Mason and the Camarillo Camerupts. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop Dracos, but I keep on forgetting how much they do. I don't calc what. No, this week I'm actually going to try to calc a little bit more than I typically would. Calcing has not been a strong suit for me in the past, and I'm hoping to change that now because it is kind of an essential part of battling. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're battling tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get a hold of Mason, see if we can schedule a battle for a little bit later tonight. Maybe in the next 10 minutes, I don't know. And then, obviously, this is going up today on Friday. Tomorrow, you'll be seeing the battle royale between old friends, old rivals. Anyway, go check out Mason's channel. I'll link it in the description below, of course. He's a great guy. He did a God of War series back in the day, and he did a Pokemon Diamond Nuzlocke. I don't know if he's planning on making a comeback in the YouTube scene, but if he does, you should subscribe to keep a, keep a watchful eye, I don't know. To keep ahead of that great return. Oh god, I almost cracked. My voice almost cracked, but I saved it by going so deeply with my voice that you couldn't even tell. Anyway, also I shaved my beard, so you've probably already seen that in my Pokemon Sun video, but I shaved the beard, and I'm nervous that's going to cost me this victory, but I'm going to try to challenge him. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to become a citizen of PlaycrastiNation today. I hope you're excited for the UPA. Week 3, we are 0-2 so far, but you know what? Maybe this is the week we can get our first win, and then we can start a trend. We can just start winning forever and somehow pretend like we know what we're doing in terms of battling. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for the battle.